Hello. Now we're live.
Here we are. Now we're live. Hi, this is Doreen, Devoy-Hulgan, and I am here with my friend Melody Kiersz. She is the founder and owner of Naked Wellness, and she works with women in her business who perhaps are unsatisfied with their bodies, have struggled with their body image, with feeling confident and sexy in their own skin, but yet now they're ready to move on and to embrace their bodies and their lives and feel confident and sexy and live the life that they really want. Hello, Melody.
Hi. Hi, Doreen. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very, very good. I was just having some interference from another tab, but now it's gone, so I can hear you.
Okay. I saw your eyes open wide, and I thought, oh, gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it was a spider.
No, it was just like feeding into the speakers, and I was like, oh my God, where is that? What's going on? But I'm here now.
Perfect. I wanted to ask you about Naked Wellness and about yourself and your story and how you came to work with the women that you work with.
Sure. So Naked Wellness is really all about feeling sexy and confident in our own skin, so that all of those little concerns and little voices that we have in our heads and all of that criticism that we're constantly having, because we're kind of a nation of perfectionists, we can like not listen to that, and we can feel comfortable and happy and confident, and then move on and create lives that we love. Because what happens a lot is that all of that criticism actually holds us back from being able to put ourselves out there and do the things that we care about and that we're passionate about, for fear that we're going to be rejected, or people are not going to like us, or they're going to judge us. And so I'm super passionate about helping people, and especially women, get that out of the way, because I think that if we spent less time worrying about how big our ass is, or if we can wear a crop top or not, then we could create some really amazing things in the world, and like some really amazing contributions, aside from the fact that we could actually have lives that we're happy with and bodies that we're happy with. So I'm super, super passionate about that. And my own story is that, and the reason why I started working in this area is that I grew up in Argentina, and Argentina is actually worse than the United States when it comes to body image and the standards of beauty that women are subjected to. And my parents sent me to a nutritionist when I was 12 because I needed to lose weight, and if I didn't lose it at that time, then I would be like stuck forever having to diet and all of these things. And these are the messages that I was getting from not just my parents, but society in general. And
were you
so
actually overweight?
I was, you know what? It's funny. I was a size 10, which for Argentina, when I went to the doctor, they told me I was obese. So you can see how like crazy that is, because a size 10 is certainly not obese. So I was fleshier than a lot of the other than my counterparts, for sure, but I wasn't like, it wasn't unhealthy, it wasn't obese or anything like that. So, but that there was a lot of pressure to fit a particular standard, and I never felt confident and happy with the way they looked. I developed pretty early on, and so by the time I was 12, I already had the boobs that I have now. And I felt like the guys were only interested in my boobs because they were big, but they were not interested in me. And I had a lot of struggles with that, with my own body image and feeling unattractive. And then, you know, I grew up, I moved to the States. I've done a lot of work around embracing my own body and embracing my curves. But that whole experience, and also receiving messages of like, you know, when I was dating, receiving messages from guys telling me that I was too emotional, or that, you know, making me feel like I was asking for too much. you know, left me feeling that, so I felt like I wasn't attractive, but then when I did manage to attract someone, I would do this thing where like I wouldn't ask for what I wanted. I wouldn't share how I actually felt about something. I would keep my own emotions and wouldn't share them because I was scared that this guy was gonna run away if I did that. And then funnily enough, what ended up happening was that actually they did end up running away because they were bored because I wasn't being an exciting like human being. I was just being this robot and trying to mold myself to what I thought were their expectations. And it was funny, you know, because I told myself like, I am the best girlfriend in the world, and like I don't understand how they can't see that, and I'm so understanding, and I'm so loving, and I'm so generous, and you know, and I'm smart, and I'm funny, and all of these things, and they don't deserve me, you know. So like that's how I would talk to myself to make myself feel better, and that's what I thought that I thought. But really what was going on underneath is that I didn't have my self-worth. I didn't believe that if I was actually just myself, that they would love me exactly as I am.
Right.
So I was playing it small. I was staying in this little box, and then they actually ended up leaving anyway. And they kind of reinforced this thing that I wasn't good enough, and that I wasn't attractive, and that I wasn't wanted, and that I wasn't lovable, and all of these things. And, you know, I've done a ton of work to overcome that and to find my own sense of self-worth, no matter what other people think or whether guys are finding me attractive or not. And, you know, there's nothing more attractive than a woman who does have her self-worth and her self-confidence. So now that has flipped. And because I've gone through this whole thing, I really want women to know that they don't have to play small. You know,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about playing small. I love the idea that when we play small, we don't serve anyone. We don't serve anyone. It doesn't serve anyone for us to play small. Right. And really, in fact, nor does it reduce the risk of something negative happening to us. So talk a little bit more about, well, I guess there are a couple things there. There's the concept of being vulnerable and the willingness to be vulnerable, to put yourself out there. And then there's the idea of playing as big as we possibly can, because we only have this life, and we don't get to rewind. We don't get time back. So go ahead and talk about those two things, if you would, please.
Yeah. So as I said, you know, I was playing small, and I thought that was going to keep the guys from running away, like their hair was on fire. But in the end, they ended up running away anyway. So, you know, like you said, it doesn't really protect us from quote unquote bad things happening to us. It just leaves us feeling stuck and trapped in smaller versions of ourselves, and feeling like we're damned if we express ourselves, and we're damned if we don't express ourselves. And so we just like feel really stuck there, and it's so frustrating trying to figure out how to express ourselves and how to put ourselves together so that other people like us. But in the end, we're not liking ourselves. Like, we're not loving ourselves. And as that saying goes, you know, if you don't love yourself, then it's very difficult for other people to love you. And, you know, in terms of that kind of vulnerability, the way that I talk to my clients a lot is that we put this mask on. So this is the part of ourselves that we show. And it's not that all of it is inauthentic. It's kind of like this edited version of ourselves. And then, you know, people will respond to that, and some people will like it, some people won't like it. But the people who like it, even when they do tell us how much they love us and appreciate us, we can't really take it in. There's always that part of ourselves that thinks, oh, but like if you really knew, you know, all the other crappy stuff that's inside of me, then you wouldn't love me like that. But the thing is, how can we expect other people to love us and appreciate us and respect us and admire us and all of these yummy things for who we are if we're not even showing them who we are? Like, that's just like an impossible proposition. So I'm a big advocate for putting ourselves out there, and it takes a lot of courage. I think that, you know, people have this idea of vulnerability of something that is being weak because you're opening yourself up to being hurt. But the truth is that it takes so much courage to put ourselves out there, especially when it's something that we care about or someone that we care about. And that is, I mean, the word courageous, actually, it comes from the Latin cor, and cor means heart. And so for me, courageous really means it's not that we're not scared of something happening or you know, getting hurt, but it's like we're leading from the heart, and there's something that's so important to us in our hearts that we're willing to put ourselves out there and take the risk anyway. And that's why I like that word. Like, courageous to me means so much more than just brave. And if anything, even if, you know, you put yourself out there and the response that we get is not the response that we wish we got, you know, it's just such an amazing thing to even have that courage. And I think that we all should be loving and appreciative of ourselves, even when we put ourselves out there and we fail and we don't get the result that we want, for example, or our expectations are not fulfilled. It's like, wow, like, you really did it. Like, you really put yourself out there and like took that step to let yourself be seen and at least give people a chance to love you and respect you as you are, not this mask that we were talking about. And, you know, some people won't like us. But the only way that we're going to find the people who will like us as we are is we actually put ourselves out as we are, right?
Yes.
And it's kind of the same with like the body stuff, right? It's like we are so scared of like, oh, if I wear this, if I wear that, it's going to show this bulge or that or like whatever. And it's like we're so controlling, like, you know, like if you're sitting to like suck your belly in or, you know, all these things, because God forbid you actually fold. But it's like, well, you're literally folding, like your body is folding because you're sitting. So there's going to be a fold, like, right? But we're like trying to make ourselves into something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you have anything that you wanted to add to that, like in terms of playing small? I know like we were discussing this before, and I feel like you had so much to share about that as well.
Thanks. Well, I feel that we do not serve ourselves or anyone else by playing small. And by that I mean, I believe that each of us has a gift, a special something that is our essence, and that each of us has other people who need what we have. So we're all interconnected in that way. And by playing small, what we do is we keep that gift out of circulation. So it's not possible for the people who need that gift to have access to it. So it's actually a service to the world and to others to put ourselves out there and share our gifts and our energies and participate in life. And it does take great courage to make ourselves vulnerable. And I appreciate what you said about vulnerability not being putting yourself in a situation that's dangerous. I like your clarification that what we're doing when we're being vulnerable is that we are putting ourselves out there as we truly are, so that other people can connect with us on that level that is below the mask, is below the brain, is below the societal norms, and we naturally connect with other people on that level. And so by keeping ourselves small and not following our dreams and not taking risks, we don't serve ourselves, and we don't serve the world at large. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Tell me some more about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to ask you to tell me some more about your work and your clients and what you have coming up. And
yeah, so
your work in the world. So your work in the world and what you're putting out there right now.
Yeah, so I've been feeling so vulnerable myself because I've been promoting this retreat that I'm doing in Italy soon, and it's September 5th to 12th. And it's a retreat for women that is all about dropping into our body, because we have so much fighting that we do with our body, not just in terms of you know, how it looks, but also like, why are you craving that, and why do you not want to like eat the things that are better for you or that make you lose weight, or you know, why don't you function the way that I want you to function? Or even in terms of our emotions, like, you know, we don't want to feel certain sensations in our body because they're uncomfortable. Or even with the body image stuff, a lot of what comes up when a woman does feel confident in herself is that she will attract more attention, and that can sometimes make us feel unsafe. And so there's a lot of sensation in our body that happens when we attract that attention. And sometimes what we as women do in order to prevent ourselves from feeling all that and having to deal with it is that we actually will shut down on our radiance and our confidence so that we are less attractive. So on the one hand, we want to be attractive. On the other hand, it's a form of protecting ourselves from that kind of attention. So, you know, we're going to be dealing and talking about all that and how to be able to be in our body and be confident, but in a way that feels safe and that we feel like we're more in control. So we're going to be tapping into our sensuality with dance and delicious food. And I mean, it's Italy, so we'll be indulging and learning how to indulge in life and really enjoy and take our pleasure in it. Because as women, I think that we learned that we shouldn't take pleasure in life, in ourselves, in our bodies, even though we're asked to project that image all the time. But somehow it's like we get all these mixed messages. So I've been feeling vulnerable because it's something that I deeply care about and I deeply, deeply want women to have. So I've just been putting it out there and sharing about it and talking about it. And yeah, it's a trip, you know, when you put yourself out there with something that you really care about, it means a lot to you, and that is your gift, and you want people to receive it. That's very vulnerable, but that's what we need to do in order to really live the life that we want to live, and express those gifts in ourselves. And like you said, you know, if we're playing small, not only are we going to feel like we're not living our life on purpose and we're not living a meaningful life for us, but it doesn't really stop bad things from happening, you know, so you might as well, like, you might as well get out of your own box and share yourself with the world. So that you're giving a chance to others to get your gifts and also to connect with you on that level. And you're getting to connect with yourself and feel alive, right? So I think that's something that a lot of times people we're all chasing this happiness, right? It's like the pursuit of happiness, and we assume that happiness is feeling comfortable and feeling without worries, but that's kind of impossible, because life is life, and it will bring up things that are not comfortable. And especially if we do want to feel alive, I think is more what we need to be pursuing, is feeling alive, feeling like we're on point, like on purpose. Then we need to be able to embrace all of the things that don't feel as comfortable, in order to be able to feel more of the things that are really amazing and juicy.
Yeah. So let's talk more about your retreat. So some of the things that we've been talking about, you're going to have activities in the program that allow women to explore some of these things, like being vulnerable and what the difference is between being vulnerable and putting yourself someplace unsafe, and what it means to understand that life will always have its ups and downs, and then that there's grace and strength actually in embracing the down slopes and realizing that we will be on the upslope again soon, and the rest of the things we talked about, our body image, the pressures that we have as women to perform or to project some sort of experience whether we're actually having such an experience or not, and things like that. So tell us more a little bit about the program for the retreat.
So we're going to be in a beautiful countryside villa that we're taking over. So it's just going to be us, and our host from the retreat place is going to be cooking delicious Italian food with organic ingredients, very, very yummy. And there's a difference between Italian food and American Italian food. And Italian food is like super fresh and simple, and so we're going to get to experience more of that side. And we're going to have a cooking class. We're going to go to a truffle farm, have some wine tasting. So like we're going to have fun. And then we're also going to be doing some deeper work around embracing our body exactly as it is. We're going to be doing some dancing in order to do that. We're going to be doing other kinds of paired exercises and lots of sharing, because I think one of the huge things that women do is that we actually compare ourselves to each other a lot. And contrary to what we might think, it's not men that want us to look a specific way. It's well, not only do we have the media that portrays certain images to sell more products, but also it's actually each other. We keep each other like that because we're so competitive about like getting a mate. You know, it's like a very evolutionary thing. And so we get really competitive. And if we see a woman that's really confident on the street, a lot of the times the thought will cross our mind, oh, like who does she think she is? And we get jealous and we feel threatened. And so working in a group of women where we can actually start creating that sisterhood and that support with each other, where we're actually happy and inspired by one another, is hugely transformational. And that's one of the reasons that I love doing this kind of work in groups. Because when we hear other women share about the exact same things that we're going through, especially like, it could be even a woman that you think is gorgeous and that she shouldn't have any problem, and she has all her shit together and her life is perfect. And then you actually hear her talk about the things that she's struggling with, and they're actually very similar to the ones you're struggling with. And for all you know, she's thinking the exact same thing about you. So, you know, it's very healing, that synergy and that magic that happens in a group. So we'll be learning a lot about each other and how to use sensuality also as a way to make peace with our body, because sensuality, I think that most of the time people confuse it with sexuality, but sensuality is really having a life where you involve all of your senses. So it really helps you be more present and be in the moment when you can be more in touch with how your skin feels or how something smells, or when you're eating and really savoring each moment, or you know, you're walking at the beach and smelling the ocean and feeling the sand and the breeze caressing your skin and all these things. We are in such a world that's like so directional and so like going from A to B that we don't stop and slow down and relax and really tune into all of these really yummy things that are happening all the time, but we don't have time for them. So that's why we're taking these women out of their regular environment where they have all those responsibilities and all of that craziness. And, you know, it's like, just come out for a week, come to Italy, and we will be really enjoying that. And then for women who sign up, there's also going to be 2 sessions with me after the retreat that can be used up to 3 months after you return home, so that you can really integrate everything that you learn in the retreat. Because, I mean, what use is it to practice all those things and learn all these things if you then can't bring them into your regular life? So I'm really passionate about, just transforming the way that women think it's possible for them to live. And then there's like so many, like, there's like that ripple effect that happens when a woman feels good about herself, that everything in her environment, her children are good, her relationship with her children are going to be different, her relationship with her partner is going to be different, her relationship with parents are going to be different, you know, at work, all of these things like will just change. And as she is more in her body and in her power and not afraid of the things that can come, or, you know, how she's going to feel about something, and stop herself from doing it because she's scared of how she's going to feel about something, that inspires everyone around her. So for me, it's like when I work with women, like be it one-on-one or in retreats or group programs, I'm not just working with those women. I'm like working with everybody that's around them as well.
Yeah, there's definitely that ripple effect, and I think that's why your work is so important, and why women will benefit. It's an exponential benefit. It's not just me taking a week to go to Italy to pamper myself. It's a real benefit that can be brought home, and we'll have a ripple effect out from each woman. So how can someone get more info about you, about working with you, about going on retreats?
Sure. So before I share that, I just want to point out, because what you just said really, I think is important, because I think as women in general, we tend to do things for other people first. And we feel so much guilt about doing something for ourselves. And so whether you come to the retreat or not, if you're watching this, I want you to know that you putting yourself first actually is a benefit to everyone around you, not just to yourself. Because if your cup is not full, then you can't really give. You're just going to keep being depleted and depleted and depleted, and feeling resentful and feeling trapped. And it just doesn't do anyone any good. So please, like, it doesn't matter to me, like, whether you work with me or not, or whatever you're doing, just like know that when you take care of yourself, when you take that time for self-care, you're actually not just benefiting yourself, you're benefiting everyone else. So there's nothing to feel guilty about there. Even if it was just for yourself.
Yeah, it's actually then, so it's really and truly more of an investment and a strengthening of the base that is the woman in society. It's not just a selfish, oh, I'm going to run off to Italy and do this, and then, you know, right. That makes a lot of sense. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think especially for mothers who have daughters, you know, to give that example to your daughter, because think about what you want for your daughter. You know, do you want her to feel trapped and stuck, or do you want her to have the example of a role model that really takes care of herself and puts herself first, and also takes care of the people that she loves? So, you know, I think that's important.
Well, so, I can.
Yeah. I was just going to say, you asked me before, so how do people get in touch with me? So I am The retreat website is intoyourbodyretreat.com.
Say that again. Say that again. You cut out.
Intoyourbodyretreat.com. And my personal website is nakedwellness.com. So you can reach me through there as well. Just in general, if you want to see other programs that I offer, I'm going to be offering a body image boot camp soon. It's a 4-week course where we'll be working on body image, and it'll be on the phone. So that is for anybody, anywhere. You don't have to travel anywhere. You can do it from the comfort of your home, or you can join me in Italy, and we'll have fun there as well. Either way, I know both options are amazing. I'm excited.
Very nice. Well, what a great conversation we've had today, and I'm already making notes in my head about topics for further discussion. So hopefully you'll be able to join me again another time. And I just want to say thanks again for your time, and I'm sending lots of positive vibes your way. I hope to be able to participate in one of your retreats myself one of these days. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing all the pictures and hearing all the stories.
For sure. And I'll be sharing, and I'll be, you know, like, I feel like one of the most important things is to inspire others. And I think that by putting ourselves out there and showing ourselves, and even like our sides that we think that other people might not like, is really inspiring to other people. So
I agree on that. I agree very much. Wholeheartedly.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
thank you
so much. Oh, you are very welcome. It's my pleasure. Besos.
Mwah. Besos. Besos. Besos.
Besos. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.